Hello viewers, today we're going to go through an in-depth review of the newest installment in a franchise I personally have lots of history with, Viva Pin Halo 5. So, before we actually talk about Halo 5, we need to go over just where this game actually falls in the history of the series releases. I mean, unless you want to click this button and skip my story, that's cool too. It's not like I'll hate you for the rest of my life or anything. Anyways, before Halo 5 came out, you could ask any big Halo fan anywhere, and they would probably tell you, after insert installment here, the Halo series started going downhill. Some people would say that after Halo 1, the series started going downhill. Some others would beg to differ and say that the series started sucking after Halo 2. But most would agree that Halo 4 was the worst entry of the series and put the franchise that much deeper in a hole. But you get the idea. Although Halo is a large franchise, in fact so large that installments typically keep its most dedicated of fans entertained for several years after their initial release, the fanbase was very divided and highly dedicated to that divide. Then at E3 2014, 343 revealed they were working on something much larger than just the Halo 2 anniversary everyone was expecting. Enter the Master Chief Collection, one single disc that had Halos 1 through 4 with their original campaigns, multiplayers, forge modes, and this time around Halo 2 getting an additional remastered edition with complete graphic overhauls, flashy new cutscenes, and even its own remastered spin of multiplayer and forge, all for the price of one normal game. All included with dedicated servers, drop-in drop-out co-op for all titles, campaign playlists to seamlessly hop between the Halos, and among other things, access to the Halo 5 beta, which a lot of people weren't super crazy about at the time because of the direction Halo 4 had gone. But regardless of how the future of the series would go, the past entries are fully preserved for ultimate enjoyment. Halo fans everywhere had their jaws dropped to the floor, and all the fans of the series, regardless of what entry they preferred, all stood united and marched onwards towards this hype train for the game. The more we got to listen to 343 Industries talk about this collection over videos and events, the more and more feasible such an amazing mashup actually seemed. Plenty of fans who hadn't yet made the transition to a next-gen console were suddenly influenced to make the switch just for this game. And on the release date, after everyone launched their pre-downloads or just finished installing the physical copy of the game, fans everywhere were hit with issues. Not exactly everyone experienced the same issues, but there were still so many issues and they were so widespread that it was impossible for one's experience to go without an issue. Right off the bat, most people couldn't even get into matchmaking with other players, let alone even get in a lobby with their friends. For example, look at this quote-unquote montage someone made a few days after the game came out. On top of that, a lot of achievements wouldn't unlock properly, and for some, the MCC crashed too often to play a proper game, or the game constantly had to be reset to function after the menus would glitch out. So 343 started to release patch after patch after patch, and although the game did finally and ultimately improve, it wasn't fixed and in proper working condition right away. It was actually a long and complicated journey, and often the things they fixed in the patch notes still fully existed for the players. Heck, they even released an achievement for everyone who had played the game early on and stuck with it while they tried to fix it, and even the achievement was bugged and wouldn't unlock for people. Now how ironic is that? It was such a tragedy to expect, as they even put it, this is literally going to be the biggest Halo experience so far, and to have it blow up on your face day one. In fact, it took well over 100 days to get the game in a stable condition, and before it got to that point, 343 had to cancel their own tournament event. The Halo 5 beta, the little bonus we mentioned earlier, went live, and although it was pretty fun, it suffered from the at-the-time issues the MCC had, and the Master Chief Collection was referred to by the franchise director as a black eye on the face of the company. Many long-term fans, myself included, disowned the series entirely, and as the presence of Halo on my mind came to a silence, it was almost like witnessing a hero get murdered, or seeing the real hero missing and the thing posing as the hero, just a villain in disguise. We wanted vengeance, someone to pay for what they had done by releasing this in the state it was in, and even though they did legitimately try to make amends in certain ways, like for example giving early players of the game the entire Halo 3 ODST campaign for free, but for me and plenty of others, it was too late to save our feelings about the game. I thought I stopped caring entirely about the series. Then I was proven wrong when they started their new ad campaign for Halo 5, which I couldn't help but perceive as the following. Roll the clip.
All hail the conquering hero. Let us remember him as our protector, and not the one who gave us this. As our savior, and not our betrayer. Let us see him forever
As you, and not as you.
All hail the conquering hero. The one who was supposed to save us all. But now I must save us from you.
Oh my god, this trailer had my mind racing, like, oh my goodness, how could they even do this to the Chief? Like, look, I know his collection was terrible and almost an insult to a lot of people, but don't kill the guy off! I didn't want this! And so, they had me interested in the story, at the very least. If something this big was going to happen in the series, I needed to experience it so I could then put the series to rest in my mind. This time around, I tried to avoid looking up info about the game as much as possible because I was afraid of it blowing up in my face again like the MCC. But as I launched my copy of Halo 5 on day one, I was surprised. Everything was actually working on day one, and honestly, that can't be said about every game franchise these days. And the game just had this indescribable feeling that just gave me the impression that this game was made with plenty more tender love and care. So now, let's finally talk about some aspects of Halo 5. The gameplay for Halo 5 has been touched up and tuned more than it ever has before. The game flows beautifully and stays at a consistent 60 frames per second, and you'll find that the gameplay in comparison to older entries in the series is much more fast-paced, and you'll have multiple methods to increasing your mobility around these maps. It's almost like having Sprint and Evade equipped in Halo Reach at the same time, but even better, you have more mobility both horizontally and vertically. This time around, you'll actually feel a little bit more like you're in a super suit. You can now Spartan charge, slide, do a little thruster dash to get that extra little leap, evade, or change your momentum entirely, climb ledges, do some aiming and levitating trick like the Sunsinger ability from Destiny, and my favorite, the ground pound. I've had way too much fun with this one, and if you're nearly as amused as I am, you too will be zipping and zooming from heights across the map, if not just to look cool, but to pretend you're Mario and your enemies are all just little Goombas. Still on the topic of mobility, you're also more mobile while in the seats of a vehicle with the newly implemented seat swapping. In the days of past titles, say for example, your gunner took too much damage and was shot off a turret. You'd have to have your driver stop the vehicle entirely just to get in the turret, or vice versa. You could be a gunner who lost a driver, and the immersion of the moment was broken by the constraints of the game. But now, with the press of the jump button, you will occupy the next empty seat in a vehicle, so your Warthog can still be a menace of the street even when someone dies in the seat. Now I know what some of you ancient Halo fans might be thinking, this isn't the Halo I've loved in the past, this has changed too much! And luckily for you, in a lot of aspects, 343 has tried their hardest yet to please the different preferences of its fans. If you don't like this flashier, zippy, zoomy style of gameplay, you can toggle practically all of these settings off in game type settings and play Halo in a little more of a vanilla variety with friends. And if you don't like how the game automatically makes you float while aiming mid-air and matchmaking, you can even toggle that off as well. Sprinting, of course, has made a return, but has gone through a little bit of tweaking to have a higher potential, but a bit of a fairness level if you do use it to that potential. To better clarify, when sprinting was first introduced back in Halo Reach, it was a very common occurrence that as you're damn near about to kill someone, they'll run away at seemingly uncatchable Mach 10 speeds and recover. And if you're kinda bad like me, you'll get your ass handed to you as an extra insult for somehow letting them get away in the first place. In Halo 4, they tried to combat this by making it so when you get hit, you can't sprint right away, and even your normal walking speed feels like you're crippled not even wearing a super suit. In Halo 5, you can activate Sprint nearly whenever you please, but in doing so, to activate and maintain this boost to your mobility, you sacrifice the recharging cycles on your shields. This adds a little bit of a skill gap, because everyone's probably going to activate Sprint when they need to get away, but if you're very aware of your surroundings, you can quickly flee to cover, and if you manage to survive the onslaught of bullets getting there, then you deserve that rebound. Despite all these changes to general gameplay, the game still maintains an indescribable Halo feel to it and much less of a Call of Duty feel which some of the past entries had. On top of these changes, the heads-up display has also been improved. Now you have a bar to see how close your shields are to actually recharging, and also as an added bonus, your reticule has a hit marker whenever you deal damage, so now you'll know when your bullets actually made an impact, or if there was actually someone past that corner to feel that well-placed grenade of yours. Loadouts have also made a disappearance from the standard game types, returning the game to its more classical arena feel. Now here's one more thing that's either really gonna bother you or it's not even gonna faze you. Split-screen gameplay is a feature that has departed from the Halo series. Halo is no longer the type of game where you can order some pizza, invite a couple of friends over, and tackle the campaign or play some matchmaking. All of this will now have to be done exclusively over Xbox Live, and with everyone having their own Xbox One. But that's enough about gameplay, let's talk a little bit about the campaign. If you thought Halo 4 had some nice cutscenes, then you're in luck. The cutscenes in Halo 5 are probably the pinnacle of 343's cinematic prowess that's grown over the years. Although I'm not going to show the best examples because I'm trying to avoid spoilers as much as possible. However, as soon as I started the campaign and began watching the first cutscene, I instantly thought, wow, this looks so fucking badass, yeah! Too bad the gameplay can't come close to this. They wish the gameplay could be this cool. Hell, I wish the gameplay could be this cool. But let's never mind that. One very interesting change 343 made to the campaign is that instead of just instantaneously respawning after you die and the area is clear, you actually get knocked down, requiring a revive to continue. I actually really like this system, except for when your only hope of living is computer control like motherfucking Tanaka. Tanaka, please!
She's away.
You know, you could sprint, you know. God damn it. I'm useless right now.
Sorry, Stone, I would revive you, but you're kind of far down there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thanks, Stone.
Ghost down there,
should've
too.
Came and got the, yeah, you should have came and got the ghost right here. There's a ghost and a fuel rod in here. 2 fuel rods.
That raid's still alive.
Tanaka! Xbox, record that. However, on the topic of computer-controlled comrades, if you're the leader of a team, you can easily command them to attack a specific target, revive a teammate, or even move to a specific spot. All with the aiming of your reticule and the press of the D-pad, and depending on if they actually want to listen to you sometimes. Overall, I found the campaign pretty fun. It's not Halo 3 level of ridiculous where you're taking a small convoy to destroy 2 scarabs at the same time because you fucking can. But I definitely had a more enjoyable experience with this than Halo 4 by a long shot. And drop-in, drop-out co-op with your friends is usually a blast, especially when someone joins just in the nick of time to save your sorry ass. Oh wait, Miss Guns! When did you get here?
Wait, this guns! What the heck? Like, I'm
Miss
sitting
Guns
here,
got the pie.
and I'm looking,
Guns got the
watching
pie.
him shoot
Miss
him.
Even more of a blast when you get that perfect betrayal.
Oh!
You fucking asshole!
Xbox, record that. Oh no!
Where you at? Oh my gosh.
This is Sparta!
Where's your
Whenever you start a mission or join in, you get to pick a character from the story's 2 teams instead of being forced to play as only the team leader when you're by yourself. Also, there's a large amount of variety when it comes to level design in Halo 5. Overall, throughout the game, you'll be seeing much less of Forerunner metal and more things like jungles, canyons, and so on. And on the topic of level design, lots of data pads, various dialogue, hidden weapons, and other collectibles are sprinkled throughout the levels for a little added bonus. There's some new enemies that join the fray this time around, such as the Forerunner soldiers and... hold on a second. We're about to cover some spoilers, so if you want to skip it, just click the skip button.
I was running for ramp and I got sniped. And I got sniped so bad in my body. I
Okay, they're gone? Good. Now I can tell the rest of you where I left that briefcase with $1 million and the keys to my Bugatti that's in storage. Oh, wait, wrong crowd. Anyways, Warden motherfucking Eternal is this guy's name, and it's not an overestimate by any means. You fight this motherfucker time and time again. He is eternally a pain in your ass. And the farther into the game, the more of them at the same time you have to face. If you're on Legendary and you're fighting 3 at once, prepare to die again and again and again and again. And in just about every YouTube review of this game, you'll hear people complain about this dude. Although, I honestly wasn't bothered about the repetition nearly as much as other people. In fact, I think all the other reviewers are idiots because they failed to notice that you can just continue the mission without fighting, pretty much going right past them. Roll the clip.
He's lasering you. Oh my god.
The other one shot that fucking black ball at you.
I was so far up. It's like I was gonna go right past it, and it's fucking shit on me.
It doesn't miss unless you're behind something.
Wow, they put a kill barrier up here? Are you serious?
I fucking hate this.
Yo,
This
bye
level. I
guys.
forgot how
Bye
hard
guys.
I had to try
Bye
to
guys. Bye guys. See ya.
Why you up there?
See ya.
My man's ran away. Where'd you go? Where are you?
I skipped the fight.
How'd you get up there?
I'm fucking down. What the hell?
GG. Xbox, record that. Xbox, record that.
How'd you do that?
No, that's not fair. That's not that. You cheated.
Yo, fuck that fight.
Okay, I'll admit, I kinda discovered this by accident and curiosity, and the other reviewers aren't idiots. But there you go. Hardest fight in the game? More like, I don't have time for your games, kiddo. See ya, I gotta go see the bay. This campaign is pretty solid. I personally enjoyed it. In fact, the best part is when shit hits the fan. Oh my god, is it so exciting. Wait, that's the end of the game? Really? Also had a nice giggly moment right at the end of the game where everyone has to race the little ball thingy.
Everybody run!
Taking the Krypton with her.
Open the bubble. Run.
Only one of us has to reach the relay to stop her.
Whoever gets there first is the winner.
Watch her lead.
Eh.
Exuberant. Lower the shield.
Right away.
Osiris, move!
What are you doing?
Pulse incoming.
Brace yourself.
Ugh.
Keep moving.
My guardians are deployed.
Fuck you! I'm gonna
Incoming pulse.
Hold on!
Soon peace will reign across.
Really?
Damn it, really?
Why would you do
You
that?
apple pie motherfucker.
Are you?
Nearly there. Nearly
Fucking puts asses in my face.
Why?
There! The relay! Destroy it!
Seriously. That's
Just
enough.
one more question before I go. Where's the Infinity? Why?
Haters.
Kid,
Stone actually got it.
you have to do it.
Don't worry,
And it's Stone.
I will find her.
Keep together.
Taking shape.
Slip space coordinates locked in. Krypton
Oh, and my other favorite part was the little hand-to-hand fight with Chief and Locke. I mean, this fight was so clunky it's almost funny, but I really loved it. I felt my inner 10-year-old make a Linkin Park music video out of it.
again. My walls are closing in.
Not a sense of confidence. I'm convinced that there's just too much pressure to take.
I've felt this way before. So insecure.
However, let's take a moment to address some issues. Although what we were given was pretty alright, story-wise the game was about nothing we expected. This whole trailer arc with Chief and Locke having different outcomes of the same situation never happens in the game. And for the people who were keeping a very close eye on the direction the story was supposed to go, will find that, well, it's something different. I wouldn't say this difference is bad, but I feel like what could have been may have been a lot better. Take a look at this Tumblr post if you want a little more insight. But I digress. If you're a Halo fan who's played all the games, maybe even looked at some of their animated stuff and what have you, you'll probably really enjoy the story. To me, it's more comprehensive than Halo 4's story. If you're generally a new player to the series, you're probably gonna have a hard time understanding the importance of certain people or certain things, and you'll have to learn this info elsewhere. But this is expected and accepted from a sequel. If this were the case with an entry title to a series, I'd have a harsh judgment. Looking at you, Destiny. Anyways, let's talk a little bit about the multiplayer. Matchmaking, oh matchmaking, how ye have changed. This time around, matchmaking is built entirely for someone who has at least a little flare of competitiveness in their eyes. And really, the competitive vibe in normal matchmaking was always lacking ever since Party Chat was released back in the days of Halo 3. Instead of being forced to a game chat to communicate with or receive callouts from their teammates, most people would rather talk to their friends who are in different sessions or different games entirely, and I don't blame them, I do it all the time too. But I digress. 343 did the next best thing without outright forcing people out of their party chats like Call of Duty does. Or used to? I don't Call of Duty, does that happen anymore? Well, you get the idea. Instead of doing that, they gave the multiplayer Spartans voices. When you play a matchmaking game, you won't have to listen long and you'll be hearing teammates Spartans making callouts such as...
Got a hit. Let's go plow right through him. Taking stronghold. Enemy spotted. Open deck.
This allows people who are not in game chat or may not even have a microphone to have means of automatic communication. I think this is a genius concept, but anyways, more on matchmaking. Every playlist is ranked, although this is expected to change in the next update. As it is now, play 10 matches, receive a rank, then get paired with other players in your skill category. This is mostly a good thing. The only reason why it's not a good thing is since no social playlist exists, you can't bring your friends into fun free-for-all playlists like Rumble, or the fun playlist from a few weekends ago, Rumble Rockets, because there's potential for manipulating your way through these ranks. On top of that, as you make your entrance into a matchmaking lobby, you realize that the ability to veto or even vote on a map and game type choice has been removed from the game. Instead of giving you a say in what you want, you are now stuck with what you get. This can lead to pleasant surprises to matchups you'd really rather not play. But honestly, is the outlying result of these systems any different? Not really, so it gets a pass in my book. Now, what also gets a pass in my book is this new game type called Breakout. This is the most MLG shit since MLG itself. 4v4, 1 life, no shields, 1 grenade, pistol and SMG, with power-ups and other weapons sparsely placed around the map. The first team to win 5 rounds either by exterminating the other team or by carrying the flag into the enemy's base eliminates the other team for the victory. Another new game type is Strongholds. Pretty much think of it like Control from Destiny, except your team must have 2 or more zones captured before your team's kills actually increase the score. It's interesting to say the least, but your enjoyment will greatly vary on the maps you get paired with. On top of some new game types, there's also a brand new game mode called Warzone, and it's pretty interesting. It's a 12v12 game where you capture bases. If your team captures all of them, you expose the core at the enemy's main base. Destroy the enemy core for an instant win, or gain points by getting kills against other players, AIs, and AI bosses that spawn around the map. You can also call in vehicles, weapons, power-ups, and such from your own armory, but not to an unfair extent because there is a form of balancing and cooling down that prevents unfair exploiting. And that's just how one of the Warzone game types work. But if I had to complain about one bad thing about Warzone, is that the scoring system for the AI bosses can be very infuriating. Since these bosses are huge meaty bullet sponges, it will undoubtedly take you and your team a while to whittle away their health. And even if your team dedicates minutes to killing that boss, dealing 99.9% of the damage, if one enemy just places that one lone bullet at the right moment, they get every single point. I experience this much more often than I'd like to, and sometimes it almost feels like there's someone on the enemy team just sitting way back waiting in VATS. And as soon as they see that one lone bullet will actually get the kill, no matter how far away they are, they'll activate their critical and steal it in all of its glory. Maybe it would be a little bit better if the points distributed were based on the damage dealt, but then again, this way might be part of the fun for the game type. Regardless, for owners of Halo 5, Warzone is a definite must-try. One last thing to mention about matchmaking is that 343 has a poll up every week during the week that allows players to vote on what special playlist they want to be up for the weekend. And that's about it for matchmaking. Now, let's move on to customization. If you're one for customization, let's just say you'll be very pleased with the amount of armor, emblems, and other customizables. My only complaint is that minus the one piece of armor and helmet you get from meeting a certain criteria in the MCC, no achievements or other challenges unlock armor in this game. Instead of your armor representing that you fought challenges of immense difficulty, it just represents that you fought the challenges of RNGs as you spent rec points or even real money for your packs that have a chance of unlocking customizables. Theater is definitely more of an improvement than ever before, except it's still not multiplayer like Halo 3's. But for example, you're able to display highlights around players who are concealed by walls, and even see everyone's view in first person. On top of that, you're even able to spectate games your friends are playing. Although it's not completely live spectating, probably to avoid potential cheating, it's a feature that has tons of potential, especially when it comes to tournaments or just seeing what crazy custom games your friends are playing before you actually decide if you want to join or not. Despite all these good feelings that I have towards Halo 5, one thing we have to remember is that a good Halo game usually isn't measured by how great the game is in concept, but rather how long it is able to satisfy its fans. And with some entries in the series performing this duty for several years, the only way a Halo game can have a chance of maintaining this is by embracing something not every game series has the potential for, like having great community aspects such as Forge, which looks really promising so far, custom games, and so on. At the game's base state, these aspects are technically incomplete, with the absence of usual game types that have been in the series for a while, such as Oddball, King of the Hill, Infection, and Griffball, just for an example. And although I'm not entirely certain if the future existence of these game types has been confirmed or not, I can only assume that these will be making a return, if not very swiftly, with the approaching release of Forge, hopefully shortly following it. And until Forge drops, I cannot give my full and final opinion on Halo 5 until I can feel the potential at my fingertips, so tune in next time. Whew, I'm surprised you're still watching this and listening to me. This is the longest video I've done yet. So while you're still here, you should totally tell me what you think. Are my ideas shitty? Am I a shitty reviewer? Or is there anything you actually liked, agreed, or disagreed with? Any ideas on how I can improve? Please, whatever it is, let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.